Heart Nation. Welcome to another episode of Carla's channel, Heart to Heart Inspiration Podcast. I am your host, Carla J, the Queen of Inspiration. And today I have another exciting episode for you. It's going to be just me solo today, but I have some very important news for you. I have just written a book, and it is called Build Before You Quit. Can't see it on the screen probably, but it's Build Before You Quit. And I'm just going to read a couple of excerpts from it. But this book will literally save your life. And what do I mean by that? I mean that on social media, how many of you give me a show of hands or some comments and just let me know how many of you in the comments have heard this? Just do this, do that. If you do this, you're going to be a millionaire. I made $1 million by, selling this product, by doing this coaching class and things like that. And you're going to make all this money. You're going to quit your job. How many of you all have heard that? And it's been like an uptick lately. Just sell this, do that, and you're gonna make all this money. And I walked away from my job, and you can too. All you have to do is get in my consulting class and coaching class and things like that. And while I'm not saying that those things are not true, I'm not saying that they're not true, but what I am saying is that plan before you leave your job, before you quit your job. Plan first, because your job is not the enemy. Your job is not the enemy. Can somebody put that in the chat? Your job is not the enemy. And you may not like your job. You may not like your hours. You may not like your boss. You may not like the work that you're doing. Maybe it seems like it's meaningless or it's mindless and it's not your passion. And guess what? That's okay. As long as you plan, you can make your exit, but you can plan quietly to make your exit. Because if you're like most people, a job allows you to have some benefits. Thank you, Queen Sugar, for putting that in the comments. Your job is not the enemy. Your job allows you to have some benefits, some healthcare benefits, hopefully a 401k. Maybe it doesn't, but it allows you to fund your dreams. It allows you to fund your dreams. Thank you, Shanice, for putting that in the comments. Somebody put fund your dreams. How else are you going to fund your dreams if you just up and quit? If you just up and quit your stability, what about your rent? What about your mortgage? What about your food, keeping a roof over your head? What about those things if you just up and quit your job? So my book is talking about quitting the right way, because I have seen so many people, some of my friends and some strangers. As a nurse, I talk to a lot of people. I get a chance to talk to people and really just listen to them and some of their stories. And I have heard many people say and witness many people leave their job. They leave too soon because they were promised this, a get rich scheme, or not even a scheme, but maybe it's something where you have to depend on someone else to buy your product, right? You can't just go to people and say, oh, buy my book or buy this plan, buy this product, and that I'm selling, and people are going to automatically do that. How many people know that that is not automatically going to happen? Even on social media, you can be selling something. You can just be making posts. How many of your friends are liking your posts? I'll wait. How many people are really liking your posts and sharing your posts or even buying your products? And we have a lot of friends, right? People who want you to buy their products. You can't buy everybody's product. So there is a need for you to do marketing, advertising. And even on social media, that advertising, that marketing is expensive. Okay, you're paying per click a lot of times, and that can really build up there, and you may get a couple of people who are buying it. So you have to constantly market your book and market your dreams. You have to get out there, you have to hustle. I am a big supporter of Shark Tank. How many of you watch Shark Tank? If you watch Shark Tank, drop some comments. I love Shark Tank, and I have learned a lot from Shark Tank. And a lot of the things they ask is, you know, how much have you sold? That's the number one question that they ask. What's the number one question they ask? How much have you sold? How much money have you made? How much debt are you in? So you can be selling things, but how much debt are you in? Because you started selling this product, you had to fund it, right? You had to raise money and things like that. And now you're in debt because of that. So you may have made $1 million, but how much debt have you accumulated? And I love watching Shark Tank because it always talks about that. But my book, it is talks about building before you quit. So one of the key phrases that I love that I put in this book, because really when sometimes when people are telling me that, I quit my job because it's not my passion, I want to do something else. I hear you, no judgment. But when I do have questions, it's because now you're asking me for some money. Now you're asking me for a place to stay, or you're asking your family because what? You quit too soon, and now you don't have a means to take care of yourself, and you thought you were going to be selling more than what you are. And so one of my key phrases in my book is shut up and work. Somebody type that in the comments. Shut up and work. Shut up and work, and not in a negative way, but shut up and work. Put your head down. Get to the business of doing your business. If this is your passion, it's no longer a passion and actually no longer a hobby, and actually something that can sustain you when you have enough sales to finance your lifestyle, to finance your mortgage, your rent, your food, to finance your children's education if you have children, to finance the rest of your dreams, to finance, your bills, your health care. Health care is expensive. It's expensive even when you have health insurance, but it's already expensive enough. So if you don't have something to rely on, to fall back on, then you're going to be, as they say, up a creek. So shut up and work is not negative. Shut up and work is just merely saying, do your homework, do your research before you up and quit. And I know this can be hard for some people to hear, because it's like, oh, you're being negative, you're downing my dreams. No, not saying that at all. But in this economy, and no matter what economy, actually, it doesn't matter. But in a time where people are losing their jobs, AI is really coming up fast and strong and replacing a lot of jobs. Yeah, I get it. You want to be ready, but don't just quit without a plan. So there's a difference between wanting a better life and building one. Say that to yourself. There's a difference between wanting a better life and building one. You have to be about it. You have to be about the business of getting things in order. Your bank account. You need to have, I'm saying need to have, but it's recommended that you have at least 3 months of emergency savings saved up before you quit a job. So just imagine if you're trying to fund a business. Now you need to have 3 months of emergency saving, plus you need to have about 3 months of business savings, just in case you have a slow startup. What if you hit the ground running and everything is going so well, but after a while the sales slow down? Then what do? You have to have something to rely on. Build your savings up. Everyone has advice, everyone has opinions. I have gotten on a lot of calls too, and they're saying, oh, do this, do that. If you really care about your business, if you really care about what God told you to do, then you would invest in yourself. Invest in yourself if you have the money to do so. If you have the money to do so. If you're already robbing Peter to pay Paul, this is not the time to try and invest in yourself without a solid plan on how you're going to replace that income. And another phrase that I love out of the book, I really thought about this book. It's not a thick book, but it's a powerful book. And if you take your time and read it, if you are an entrepreneur, if you are wanting to be an entrepreneur, I have friends who say, I have no intention on being an entrepreneur. I want to work. I'm not trying to run up my own business or anything like that. And that's perfectly fine. But if you're that person, or if you have someone in your family like that, or your friends, and they're like, I really want to do this. They said I can make this amount of money and that, and I just need to go all in. How many of you have heard that? All in, just go all in. And it feels like something is going to pass you by if you don't jump at that time. But I want you to know that delayed does not mean denied. Delayed does not mean denied. Delay gives you skill. It helps you learn how to do those skills. I'm going to give you an example with the podcast. There are many podcasters out there saying, oh, you could become a millionaire. You can get all this money. You can get people to sponsor you. You can get people to give you money to play their ads and things like that. But guess what, family? It takes time. You have to build up that relationship. You have to build up your audience, your following. You have to build it up, and it takes some time. And guess what? You have to be willing to put yourself out there to try and get these sponsorships and things like that. Not saying it's not going to happen. You just have to be ready to put yourself out there. So if you just quit your job and think that these things are magically going to happen, you have another thing coming. I'm telling you. So you want to build on your skills. For my podcast, I know many people had a podcast and they stopped doing it. Like after a year, 6 months to a year is the average time for a podcast. Why? Because there's a lot of editing involved in it. Like today I'm going live, and I used to go live all the time because I did not know the skill of editing, and to pay someone to edit was unreasonable for me. And so I said, I'm going to take my time and I'm going to learn how to edit my podcast. And I'm still learning, but I am so much smarter, so much further along than I was almost 2 years ago. And I'm proud of that because what? That's money in my pocket that I'm saving. That's money in my pocket that I'm saving. I know how to do edits. I know how to, if I want to outsource something, I know what to ask for. Because people are only going to give you what you ask for, and it still may be a mediocre product when it's done. I'd rather it be my mediocre product that I slaved over and did for free than I paid a lot of money for, and for someone to do a job that I really could have done, or they didn't do the job I was expecting them to do. So during this lean season, one of my guests called these lean seasons because you're learning about yourself. You are honing your craft. You're growing yourself and your skills. So delay gives you skill, cushion, because you're still getting a paycheck every 2 weeks, clarity and confidence. So many entrepreneurs have stated that there were some lonely days, depending on where that next check is going to come from. Did you get enough sales? Did you get enough sponsorship? Then there's the IRS, things like that you have to be ready for. So many things that you have to do as an entrepreneur. So you always want to be honing your craft, building up your skills. And that's going to take some time, and that's okay. And you don't have to announce to the world that you are wanting to do this job on the side, or be an entrepreneur. Build quietly, learn what you have to learn. And guess what? Stability is not going to be boring. Stability is going to fuel you. is going to fuel you. A stable income, it doesn't feel dramatic. It feels like, oh, I got to do this job again. Oh, I'm so tired of these people talking to me. Stability feels uncomfortable a lot of times, or stability means that you're just going through the motions, but that's okay. Keep going until you have what you need, until your income from that job, from that hustle, can take over for everything that you need to survive. That's when you know you've got something. Not one good month, not a couple of good weeks, but consistently bringing in that income to replace the income on your job. And I know this doesn't sound good because we want that immediate gratification. But I'm here to tell you that if you just hold on, if you just stick it out, keep learning, keep growing, it's going to pay off, because how you leave matters. You may say, once I leave that job, I'm not going back. I don't care. I'm never going to see those people again. But guess what? You might unexpectedly get some uh, get some advice, or a potential client to say, "Oh, I heard you were doing this. I want to be, a sponsor, or I want to invest in your business." So you always want to stay professional when you exit. I know sometimes the young people think that they don't have to do that. When I was young, I thought the same thing. But as you get mature and you start to see that, hey, this world is one big circle, it's a small world, then you start to appreciate those things a little bit more. Stay disciplined, stay true to yourself, keep building without panic. And my final word, my book, Build Before You Quit, is not about telling you to quit or telling you not to quit. It's about teaching you how to live well in order to leave well, because you have to be able to live in order to leave. You have to be able to live in order to leave. Don't quit your job haphazardly. Don't quit your job without planning. And this book, I know it will bless you. I know it will. I put a lot of thought into it. It's also going to be coming on audiobook soon, so be on the lookout for that if you're like me and like to listen instead of read. But it is available now on Amazon Books and Kindle, and it's called Build Before You Quit, a practical guide to leaving your job the right way. And so once you get it, leave me some comments on how well you liked it or your thoughts about it, and if it has helped you at all. And also drop a comment now and let me know if you enjoyed this presentation today, this podcast episode, because I really want us to win together. I don't want you homeless. I don't want you out there, your kids not getting the things they need. I don't want you depending on someone else, in order to fund your pockets and your dreams. You can raise money, you can do all those things, but you have to fund your dreams yourself as well. And I want you to leave the right way and leave with those connections. Okay. So, Heart Nation, it's been great. And I hope you have enjoyed this podcast episode. Join us next week. Please subscribe and watch. And I also want to give some shout outs really quickly to, oh, my throat is getting so dry. I want to leave some shout outs to a couple of people. First of all, Queen Sugar Creations. Queen Sugar Creations. She is a staunch supporter of the podcast. Thank you so much, Queen Sugar. And you can check her out on Facebook too. She does these amazing stories, and they are awesome. So check out her videos on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. And also, I want to give a special shout out to Swagger Guru. Swagger Guru, they put some of my information on their website. You can go to swaggerguru.com. It's swaggerguru.com, and I'll put all the links in the comments after the podcast. You can go to their website. They have some awesome things going on their side of the company for them as well. And I thank you all for partnering with me. And I also want to encourage you to follow my podcast right here on YouTube. You can also find me on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. Although I'm not on TikTok that much, but you can still find some of my work there. So, Heart Nation, Thank you so much. And I know you could do it. I know your dream is really burning inside of you and you're ready to do it and you're ready to go for it. And I want you to do that. But I want you to leave the right way. And I want you to do it in a way that you won't be sorry once you make that leap. All right, Heart Nation. Good night. Have a good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining.